Newstalk ZB.
23 minutes away from 8, the Prime Minister is with us for a Monday morning. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too, Mike.
Can I just ask, this is a very superficial question on my part, but nevertheless, I'm watching your thing yesterday. Nicola's in a blouse. Nicola Griggs in a blouse.
I wasn't in a blouse.
You weren't in a blouse.
No,
you turned up with a shirt and a jersey and a puffer jacket, like your granddad who's not handling the weather that well. What the hell was going on there?
Man, I was cold yesterday. Yeah, it was like being back in Christchurch again yesterday.
I don't know. I was looking at you thinking, mate, get the jacket off. Anyway, can I congratulate you?
Did you notice that was a bright blue National Party jacket?
Well, it was
because it was a National Party policy, right?
Either you're hot or you're feeling the cold a bit these days. Anyway, monthly inflation, which won't get covered by anybody else, but I banged on about it with Grant Robertson for years.
Yeah.
In changing it to monthly reporting of inflation, tell me how complex and hard that has been.
Well, it's funny you say that because this is the question I have been asking the stats department since I got there, because every other country does monthly inflation, and it's kind of important to know where you are on some of these key metrics and how your progress is, rather than waiting 4 months before the quarter finishes and you get the number. So they're telling me now that, I think the latest one I asked last week was it's supposed to be coming in the middle of next year. I've written back a note saying, can you please explain why every other country seems to be able to do this, but we still can't do it?
And what do they say when you say that?
They're looking into that, of course, so that's why they'll get another note, and I'll chase it up even further, because it's actually just, I mean, like, we need really good quality data on quite a bit of our key stats. If you notice, like, when we announce the GDP number,
100%.
It gets restated every quarter. Yeah. So, last time it was 0.1, it went to 0.5 for the quarter before, and they're quite significant movements, and so. Yes, there's a big effort going in to make sure that we can get the core stats more robust and obviously more frequently produced.
Okay. ACT over the weekend and the Pharmac idea, a greater percentage of the money going into medicines. Can you argue with that?
No, I mean, I think if you look at our track record, we've put quite a lot into medicines, and we're also, we're in the camp of wanting to expand medicine access as well. We put that $604 million in that first budget, and that got us 66 new medicines, I think 33 new cancer ones, helping 250,000 Kiwis. So, we're open to wanting to expand access to drugs. It's just a question of how you afford it, how you do it. And Simeon will have more to say about that as we get closer.
Oh, you've got a policy on that as well?
We will do, yeah.
Does it mirror what ACT is saying?
Well, I mean, I think we're the gestalt is that we want to be able to increase access to drugs, right? I mean, you just look at what we've done already in the 2 and a bit years, getting some of those cancer drugs that previously weren't available in New Zealand. And I've met a lot of people as I move around the country who've benefited a lot from that. So, we get it. I mean, and, we've been working quite hard to, it was a big investment, that $604 million in that first year. It was a big one to sort of put out there.
Is that the first time this week you've used the word gestalt?
Yes, possibly, but I think I find that because you're so erudite, you end up bringing these big words out of me. And of course, the press gallery is absolutely falling off their chair because they think I mangle most of the English language.
Well, exactly.
With too much corporatism and CEO speak.
So you've impressed them with that. The data centre debate, which is interesting because you and I have talked about this a number of times before. Why haven't we seen what's happened overseas and got some rules in place, and they can pay for their own power and they can run their own thing and you're welcome in the country, but we've got this angst that I would have thought is entirely avoidable? Yeah,
I think there's a couple of things going on. I mean, to be honest, in the last 6 months, really, it's where you've seen angst in Europe and also in North America around data centres, because they've actually been in those markets for some time, and they're getting they're losing some of their social licence in the communities they're part of. I actually spoke to Albanese about this when we were together in Queensland, just saying, look, we need some sort of, we're both working on sort of frameworks of how we will handle that. But I thought the Greens announcement was sort of a bit classic Greens, to be honest, in the sense of we haven't even got the investment here in New Zealand. We haven't got data centres happening at scale. I think over the next 12 months, we've got 3 small ones coming on stream. Sure. They're not putting pressure on our power prices. But the point of that, when we, big data centres, when they do come and there's some thinking about coming, they haven't landed and they're not here yet, they will need to have additional electricity generation. They will need to make contributions to transmission lines. They will need to do payments for other things.
Do they know that?
Well, I think, yes. I mean, yes, because jurisdictions around the world have started to move. Just remember, we are very late off this rank. We're coming to this party quite late. So those the good operators and the good investors well understand that. And in some of our data centres that have been built already, even in the last 2 or 3 years, have actually done deals with our gentailers for additional renewable bespoke energy as well. So that's very much our focus as well. But I just don't like the idea that all of a sudden, a bit like the oil and gas ban, a bit like the message from mining, we're sending a message to investors saying we don't want your money.
You want to be well prepared when they get
correct.
Here.
And that's not a difficult thing to put a frame around that to say, when you come, we expect you to add additional electricity generation to support your activity.
The 12.5% from Trump over the weekend, it's already heading to court. Do you think he'll get tripped up in court?
Who knows? I mean, I bet it's just ridiculous. I mean, there is no forced labour situation in New Zealand. This is purely a play.
That's not what it's about, really.
No, it's purely a play to find another avenue to open up the 12.5% tariffs when the Supreme Court came back with a negative ruling. So, we've made our case pretty strongly to the Americans. They're not for turning. And frankly, we've grown our exports 4% in the US with the tariffs in the last year or so. But the big thing, Mike, is that's why you got to do the Indian FTA. That's why you got to do the EU FTA. That's why you got to do UK, GCC, Middle East, and out to China and Southeast Asia.
Do you know Jameson Greer? Every time I have McClay on the program, he references Jameson Greer as though they're great mates. And
they actually are. They're actually quite good friends.
Well, how is it, when I watched Jameson Greer, as I did over the weekend in various outlets, is he a Trump acolyte? In other words, he believes this BS, or he's just playing the game and he says what he has to say?
Who knows? I mean, he was part of the first administration, I think in a more junior role, if I remember correctly. We find him quite straight up. We talk very directly to him because I think we don't want any ambiguity, and we're pretty direct. He and Todd have built a good relationship, good rapport. But at the end of the day, as I said, Todd, how did it go last time? He said, well, he just shrugged his shoulders, basically. And you go, well, yep, that's exactly the mindset of America First at the moment.
And so presumably
that America First mentality means they don't give a toss.
So if it gets tripped up in court, we then once again go through the process of going for refunds and the money that we pay now at the 12.5%, when that comes in, we get them, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I think, I think the one thing we have going for us is that about 33% of all of our trade, of course, has no tariff, which is the beef and the kiwi fruit stuff. But it's just insane. I mean, like honestly, we know tariffs doesn't work for the consumer. It has massive implications on the global economy. We've seen how this movie plays, and it doesn't end well.
I haven't talked to you since you made the call. I think we talked to Nicola Willis about it. The Golden Bay cement thing.
Yeah,
there was
quite exceptional circumstances there.
Well, so you say, but you're setting a precedent. And why can't the ETS is an invented construct, isn't it? So why not play with that instead of writing checks?
Well, I mean, one of the criticisms is that people think we've been playing with it too much and we're constantly tweaking it, and it's not enough consistency and clarity and all that stuff on the ETS.
You've carved out the farmers. So why not carve out the cement?
Yeah, well, on this case, though, I mean, essentially, this was just purely about the fact we're going to lose that capacity and capability in this country.
No, I get no one argues with that. No one argues with the argument. But the point is, we don't have any money for a start, but we do have the ability to carve out something from the ETS.
Yeah, well, we just don't. I mean, we don't want to touch that ETS at this point in time. We just want to leave that.
Why?
As a
what are you so afraid of?
Well, as soon as you touch it, you've got a different set of problems, and that's the problem. Is that it's been constantly tweaked and it's been just constantly tweaked and changed, and the people that are involved in the system need to have certainty and clarity about that. This is actually quite a high bar for us to actually make an intervention like this. It's not something we like doing, to be honest. But basically, when you look at it and go, jeepers, if we are 100% reliant on cement coming from Japan, we just can't. And I think that's the big shift, is we've gone from these globally efficient supply chains to now having to build national resilience given the chaos out there in the world and the disruption that happens. So the more we can build it in.
The irony in the days that we farewell Bill Birch, that we're saving golden cement and we're cleaning out tanks at Marsden Point.
Yes.
And it's almost...
That wasn't lost on me.
It's almost think big all over again, isn't it?
Yeah, think less big, baby.
Yeah, but I mean, is this the new normal? That we need to be
I do. I mean, it was interesting. I actually spoke at Bill's funeral on Friday, and that was I said the time he came on as finance minister was after 2 big oil shocks, and actually and trying to build national resilience and more national security and independence inside the country. And that's eerily familiar to where we sit today, because we can't. The world has shifted and changed, as I've been saying over the last year, and we have to therefore build a stronger homeland, and that's what it's about.
All right, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Prime Minister Christopher Luxon